What did you think about last week? Pretty fun, huh? A lot of stuff going on. Anything new for you? There's a whole other world of the way that people do church, and we just have to recognize that it's out there. More and more and more young people are gravitating toward some of those types of stable, proven, traditional, grounded, rooted in God liturgies and traditions that have served the church really throughout the centuries. One of those things that helps order the church that we talk about a little bit today, I'm just talking about it right now, but that's really the seasons of the church. And when I talk about the seasons of the church, I'm talking about the liturgical calendar, and it's a way to perceive, to look at the flow of what happens and incorporate that into your worship planning, into your church planning. Not for every church, and certainly not something that is easily adapted. Actually, it really could be easily adapted if people just knew what they were doing. But there's a lot of hesitation to do that because of misguided thinking about, that's Catholic, or that's stifling. Actually, in my experience, what I've found is that the more structure that we have to work within, the framework of structure, the more freedom we have. And Nicky Gumbel, in his Alpha series, talks about going to, as a parent, going and watching a soccer game with his little kids. And the refs hadn't shown up, so the kids went ahead and started the game. And they got out there, and it was just chaotic. They were arguing about who was out of bounds and who was in bounds, and they were arguing about who scored a goal. And when the referees came and drew the lines and started making the calls, it was freeing for them to actually play the game. And I find that even in my worship leading, when I've been a worship leader, the band that I'm working with, the congregation that I'm working with, has a lot more freedom in their expression when they have structure to move from. If they don't have structure to move from, they're always wondering. You know, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the Ginghamsburg model. And for Kim Miller and for the video, the graphics, all the different people that came in, that each week they were frantically trying to prepare for the upcoming week. And it exhausted them. Eventually they got to the point where they said, we can't do this anymore. And they began to do series, 6 to 8 week series, so that they have some structure to within which to do some planning and really increase the efficacy of their product, their ability to do stuff. Well, when you look at the liturgical calendar, it provides this structure, this framework for you to move through the seasons of life and move through the seasons of the calendar. It's a little bit hard to read there, but it starts with the season of Advent, which is 4 Sundays before Christmas. And those 4 Sundays, we look for the coming of Christ. The whole Old Testament is basically looking for the coming of Christ, and a lot of the beginnings of the Gospels looking toward the coming of Christ. And then we have Christmas, and we begin the season of Christmas time. And then 12 days after Christmas, December 25th to January 6th. On January 6th, we have what's called Epiphany, when the legend is, and of course the idea is that we see God, and that's when the wise men came and they see God. No, it doesn't line up. It's allegory, and it's a structure with which go. It's like, did Christ really be born on Christmas Day? Who's to say? Who knows? They didn't keep records back then like that. Um, but it's the day that is appointed for that. And so the day of Annunciation, when Gabriel spoke to Mary, when would you think that would be? Well, 9 months earlier. So it's in March. Duh. Okay, so Advent, and then Christmas, 12 days of Christmas, and then we have Epiphany, and then we go from Epiphany through to a season of Lent, which begins with Shrove Tuesday before Ash Wednesday, and you've celebrated Ash Wednesday. And then Ash Wednesday kicks off that 40-day season of preparation for the Easter celebration. So the season of Lent is that time of contemplation and preparation for the season of Easter. And then 5 weeks later, Pentecost. And then the Sunday after Pentecost is Trinity Sunday. And then from Trinity Sunday, we go all the way back to Christ the King Sunday. And during that ordinary time, you see green at the bottom of the chart. That green is for, let's see if that goes in there. No, it doesn't. That green is for just a celebration of Jesus' work on life. I'm not going to say more about that because you're getting that in some other areas. This week, you're going to be looking at inventory and budgets for your CWMP. And we look at the season of Lent, the season of Easter. We look at the liturgical calendar as we prepare in our Spiritual Life Forum for our Palm Sunday call to worship. So we'll unpack that a little bit. We'll look at that later on. This is, I don't know if I put this up there, this is week 6, and that means we have 2 more weeks. So now is the time. Now is the appointed hour. If you are behind anywhere, do all that you can to catch up. Feel free to give me a call. No, don't call. Email. Here's why you don't call. Because my phone is set to send people who are not in my contacts to voicemail. So if you call, you're going to be leaving a voicemail. And then maybe I'll call you back. Maybe. Love you. Really do. Having a great time. All right.